Hey YouTube, it's Edward, your favorite homeboy. Today I want to talk to you a bit about real estate negotiation. Before I start, please like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Now, you don't have to be a big baller Manhattan real estate broker to be involved with negotiation. Chances are you're already involved in negotiations every day, especially if you're a property manager or a landlord. Now, being a good negotiator doesn't just impact your bottom line, but there are other benefits to consider as well, such as your mental health. Watch this video to the end and I'll explain one perspective you can have when entering negotiations that will yield better results for you personally and professionally. I've taken a bunch of real estate courses for special designations over my career, but some of my favorite ones were the courses I took to obtain my MCNE. That stands for Master Certified Negotiation Expert. One of the main concepts you have to understand as a good negotiator is that negotiation is not about taking as much as you can and leaving the other party empty-handed. Good negotiation doesn't look at the object of negotiation like a pie, and the more pieces of the pie you take, the less pieces of the pie there is for the other party. Good negotiation says, how can we make this pie bigger so that all of us can have more pieces of the pie and we all win? And the way to do that is you have to have good communication to really understand the goals and priorities of all parties. It's a win-win. So at Mars Hill, the perspective we want to take when we enter into negotiations is we want to ask, how can we accomplish win-win-win scenarios? Well, why 3 wins? Well, there's the landlord, the client we represent, and we have to understand their interest. There's the tenant, and of course there's us. So there's a win-win-win for all 3 parties involved. So this negotiation for property management, usually there's 3 main time frames during the course of a lease that takes place. The first, of course, is the very beginning when you're putting the lease together. You're coming up with basic terms like the length of the lease and how much and what type of concessions are being made. So there's the lease. And in the middle of the lease, the negotiations are typically around work orders. And there's not too much negotiations there. It's either broken and needs to be fixed, or you're out of your mind, we are not fixing that. And then of course, at the very end of the lease, there is the itemization of security deposit. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because that's usually when most negotiations occur. So, story time. A few weeks ago, we had a tenant move out one of our townhomes in Centerville, Virginia. And as part of our process, we do a move out walkthrough. So the purpose of that walkthrough is we take photos of everything that needs to be fixed for the next tenant. The cool thing is we do that exact same process when that existing tenant first moved into the property. We take photos of everything that's pre-existing based off a report that they generate. So we say, hey, tenant, you just moved in. We don't want to charge you for things that are pre-existing, so take your time, be as picky as possible, fill out this report. And we're going to do you a favor. We're going to take photos of everything you wrote down just so we can document everything. So we compare those photos with the photos at the move out. And anything that's different can be subject to be itemized because, hey, it's like there's a hole in the wall and there's no hole in the wall in the original photos, so you could be charged for that. Oftentimes, our findings are very accurate and no negotiations are necessary. However, this time around, the resident disputed some of our findings, and so we had to set up a call to review this with them. Now, you never know how these calls can go. And talking about who's responsible for damages is not necessarily a topic that most people like to build friendships around. So one idea I have to remind myself about so that I don't get stressed out when I do these calls is this is not my fight. It's not my fight. It's not a fight. It's not my job to make the tenant pay for as many of these repairs as possible. It's not fair and it wouldn't be ethical. My job is to make sure that I simply understand what the tenant is disputing, and if there's fair evidence of photos or it's mentioned in the report that somehow we missed or there's miscommunication, just to listen to them. My other goal is to make sure they understand our process, that this is not a way we make money. This is just a way we just try to do our best job possible to be fair and deduct what we really feel like they damaged. If they insist on not paying for something that there's no photo of from the move-in, then I either have to give them the benefit of the doubt based off my relationship with them and the history that we've had. Are these the type of tenants that are always trying to get out of all their responsibilities, or is this the type of tenant who's sincere and conscientious and wanting to do the right thing? Or, I can either make that decision, give them the benefit of the doubt, or I'll simply let them know that I'll check with the owner and see if he'll make it an exception. With all that being said, let's go ahead and make the call. Hey, good morning, Megan. This is Edward. Well, thanks for taking the time to be on the call so we can review some of the findings that you felt were already present when you moved in. And sometimes that happens. We do our findings and a tenant may see something we don't. And it's always great to be able to see where you're coming from and vice versa. So repaint the front door is the next one. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the 9th picture. And next to the door knocker, there's a mark on the front door, kind of like the paint got chipped away. I don't know if it's some furniture being moved or what, but that was not reported in the photos. Okay, so when you circled doors, were you referring to that? That was already there? Okay, all right, I'm just gonna put that as pre-existing too. Let's look at the next one. Fixed paint peeled wall area under chair well. Okay, so that is the section there right next to that sliding door. Okay, so I'm just gonna put confirm next to that on my notes so we went over that. Rusty medicine cabinet base. So basically there's 2 cabinet bases. They're rusty on the bottom and they're missing some glass shelves. That one specifically, I didn't see any notes next to medicine cabinets in the bathrooms and they were listed as okay. Because under master bathroom it says okay next to it. There's not even any notes. I mean, there's no notes, but not only that, it says okay. If it said not okay, I would probably, be fine with it. And then like the missing glass shelves, like there's only 1 glass shelf in this other cabinet. Okay, but you're telling me it's pre-existing. You're sure of that? Okay, then I'm just gonna put it as pre-existing. Okay, the landscaping, the leaves, and dispose of any debris. So those are the exterior pictures towards the beginning. Yeah, sorry, it's the first couple photos there. Mainly, we're just looking at, when we turn over a property, we always try to have it at least cut recently and trimmed and the leaves removed. And so when we see something that's not how we would normally leave it, we make sure that either there's a photo of it and it's mentioned, or else we would charge the tenant for that. Does the HOA cover all the lawn care on this property, you're saying? Okay, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna take this off as well. Remove leaves from front landscaping, dispose of any debris. I'm just gonna make that an owner expense as part of the make ready then. Okay, bedroom door, there's a hole towards the top. So if you look at there it is. Okay. Yeah, it's the hole's on the very top. It's right above the blue tape. I think Susie, she's kind of short, couldn't reach it. So she just put the blue tape there underneath the hole. Okay, that's pretty much it. It's very reasonable what we talked about here, and I really appreciate you.
A few moments later.
Hey, thanks so much, Megan and Luke. I'm glad we could work through this. Happy New Year too. Have a great day. Bye-bye. So there you have it. We took off about 8 items from the itemization, and most of it was due to items that were already listed on the report, but it wasn't described very clearly. And so that's why typically we have photos that accompany that report. And in this case, we had an employee who just wasn't very detail oriented, and that's why they're no longer with the company. So we didn't really have the photos. I gave them the benefit of the doubt since it was circled on the report, even though it wasn't super detailed, and we took those off the report. And there's probably another 1 to 2 items that they mentioned as pre-existing. There was no photo, it wasn't documented in the report, and they were okay with me charging them for it. So as you can tell, this whole exercise is a little bit of give and take. If I was hammering them on every single one of these things and saying that wasn't clear enough or whatever, then when it came to these items where they knew were present in the property but wasn't mentioned in the report, they'd probably take a hard stance on that. Again, the goal of successful negotiation is not to charge the tenant for as much as I can. It's to be fair and let them know that I'm really trying to make the best decisions that I can. Now, does that mean a few items can slip underneath the radar? Maybe. But that also means I'm minimizing the chances of having a very angry resident who feels unjustly treated. And that means protecting my client from unnecessary exposure to lawsuits. So if you're a property manager, I hope this helps you during your next negotiations with a tenant. Remember, it's not your fight. And if you're self-managing a property, keep in mind that one of the benefits of hiring a professional property manager is the ability to negotiate and not let emotions get in the way. Just remember, a win-win-win perspective will always lead to the best results in the long run. Please do me a favor, help me share this channel with your friends. The best way to do that is to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this channel with others. You can also comment below if you have questions or suggestions for future content. You can be certain that I read all the comments personally. This is your favorite homeboy signing out.